Elias Carter adjusted the straps on his backpack and scanned the icy expanse ahead. The planet was quiet, almost unnervingly so. Tall crystalline formations jutted out of the frozen ground, reflecting the weak light of the planet's twin suns. Snow drifted lazily, and the wind bit through even his thick exploration suit. Elias had been here for 3 days, charting the valley for the Interstellar Alliance. But the eerie silence made him uneasy. He had faced harsh worlds before, yet something about this one felt alive in ways he could not explain. A faint, high-pitched sound broke the quiet. At first, Elias thought it was the wind, but it came again softer this time, almost like a cry for help. He froze, listening carefully. The sound was definitely real, and it was coming from the direction of a narrow canyon between 2 crystal spires. Without hesitation, Elias moved toward it, careful with every step on the slippery ice. Survival instincts sharpened. He scanned for any threats. Predators could be near, especially on planets humans rarely visited. When he reached the canyon, the source of the sound became clear. A small figure was trapped under a fallen crystalline shard, struggling to move. At first, Elias thought it was some alien creature native to the planet. But as he approached, he realized it was something far more extraordinary. The creature had the form of a humanoid, but with delicate wolf-like features. Silvery fur covered her body, and her amber eyes glowed faintly in the cold light. Her ears twitched at every sound, and a bushy tail curled instinctively around her body. She was injured, her arm pinned beneath the shard, and her breathing came in rapid, frightened gasps. Elias didn't hesitate. He knelt beside her, gripping the shard with both hands. It was heavier than it looked, but years of strength training gave him the edge. With a grunt and a push, the shard shifted, freeing the wolf girl. She collapsed against the ice, weak but alive. Elias quickly assessed her condition. There were deep cuts on her arm and leg, frost forming on her fur, and signs of exhaustion. "Hey," Elias said gently, careful not to startle her. "You're safe now. I'm not going to hurt you." The wolf girl's amber eyes met his. She tilted her head, ears flicking nervously. Then, slowly, as if testing him, she extended her free hand. Elias caught it, supporting her as she struggled to stand. Her strength was limited, but there was determination in her gaze. He noticed subtle movements in her jaw. Some form of communication that was not words, yet somehow conveyed meaning. She was trying to tell him something. Elias scanned his surroundings. The canyon was narrow, but there was a small overhang nearby that could provide shelter from the worsening snowstorm. Carefully, he helped her toward it. Step by step, he guided her, keeping a hand on her back for support. When they reached the cave-like overhang, he set her down gently and began unpacking his medkit. "Just hold still for a moment," he said, working quickly. He cleaned the cuts with antiseptic and wrapped them carefully. The wolf girl flinched at first but allowed him to treat her injuries. Her eyes never left his, and in them, he saw something unexpected. Trust. It was fragile, yes, but it was there. After bandaging her wounds, Elias handed her a thermal blanket. She hesitated, then wrapped it around herself, shivering slightly. He noticed the faint glow of her eyes dimming, signs of fatigue setting in. "You need to rest," he said softly. "We'll figure out what to do in the morning." She nodded, or at least, he interpreted the slight bow of her head as agreement. Elias wasn't sure if she understood his words exactly, but communication was happening, in a form beyond language. That night, the snowstorm raged outside, but inside the overhang, a quiet bond began to form. Elias shared small portions of his rations, offering them with a calm smile. The wolf girl accepted cautiously, then with more confidence. She showed a surprising intelligence, observing his movements, mimicking his gestures, and even attempting sounds that resembled words. Elias chuckled softly. "We'll get you talking in human language yet," he said, impressed by her determination. At one point, she moved closer to him, her body instinctively seeking warmth. Elias froze briefly, realizing that this gesture, common among her species, carried a deeper meaning. She was claiming him as a companion, not in any possessive sense, but as a partner who had saved her life. The connection was profound and immediate, instinctual and emotional, all at once. Elias felt a strange mix of responsibility and respect. He had saved her life, yes, but she had chosen him in return. That choice carried weight, and he honored it, silently. Over the next few hours, Elias observed her more closely. Her reflexes were sharp, her senses keen. She could hear distant movements, smell subtle changes in the environment, and her agility was beyond human limits. Yet there was vulnerability too, a clear need for guidance and safety. He realized that surviving on this planet would require both of them relying on each other fully. Morning came with the storm still lingering, but the winds had softened. Elias and the wolf girl emerged cautiously, scanning the icy landscape. The valley was treacherous, filled with shifting ice, hidden crevices, and strange, predatory creatures. Elias led the way, testing the ice with a probe before each step. The wolf girl followed, matching his pace, sometimes moving ahead, her instincts guiding her. They came across a pack of small alien predators, wolf-like in appearance but aggressive and territorial. Elias quickly assessed the situation. He could not fight them all alone. The wolf girl, sensing the danger, growled softly and crouched, ready to defend. Elias watched in awe as she moved with incredible speed, dodging attacks and creating openings for him to act. Together, they managed to drive the predators away without serious injury. After the encounter, Elias knelt beside her. "You're incredible," he said genuinely. "I wouldn't have made it without you." She met his gaze, her amber eyes bright with understanding. Though they did not speak the same language fully, the bond between them had grown stronger, forged in shared danger and mutual reliance. As they continued exploring the valley, Elias realized how much he had underestimated this planet and its inhabitants. The wolf girl was not just a survivor. She was a symbol of resilience, intelligence, and loyalty. He felt a deep respect for her culture, her instincts, and the way she had claimed him not out of whim but out of genuine recognition of his courage and kindness. By the end of the day, they reached a plateau overlooking the frozen valley. The twin suns cast a soft orange glow across the ice. Elias took a deep breath, feeling a rare sense of peace. The wolf girl sat beside him, tail curled neatly around her legs, eyes reflecting the sun's light. She leaned slightly against him, a gesture that was both intimate and reassuring. Elias placed a hand gently on her shoulder. He did not fully understand her species' customs, but he understood the intent. She trusted him, and he would honor that trust with everything he had. For the first time since arriving on this planet, Elias felt that he was not alone. Survival was no longer just about endurance or skill. It was about connection, partnership, and the unspoken promise of loyalty. Together, they would face whatever dangers lay ahead. As night fell and the temperature dropped further, Elias built a small fire using technology and careful planning. The wolf girl watched the flames, fascinated by their warmth and light. He offered her a seat close to the fire, and she accepted, eyes never leaving his. He knew that their journey had only begun, but already, a partnership had formed, one that transcended species, language, and the harshness of the world around them. Elias looked at the stars beginning to appear above the icy landscape. Somewhere among them, countless other worlds awaited exploration. Yet he knew that this one, this strange, frozen planet, held a story unlike any he had ever known. A story of courage, compassion, and an unbreakable bond between a human and an alien wolf girl who had chosen him as her companion forever. And as he watched her settle beside the fire, eyes closing in exhaustion, Elias silently promised himself that he would protect her, not because he had to, but because he wanted to, because in saving her, he had found something rare and extraordinary, a connection that neither time nor danger could sever. The snowstorm outside continued to howl, but inside their small shelter, warmth, trust, and the beginning of a lifelong bond blossomed. Elias and the wolf girl had survived the first night together. The world was vast and dangerous, but together, they were stronger than anything the universe could throw at them. The next morning, the sky was clearer, and the twin suns reflected off the crystalline formations in a dazzling display. Elias woke first, stretching his stiff muscles from the previous day's exertion. The wolf girl was still asleep beside him, her silvery fur gleaming softly in the early light. He watched her for a moment, careful not to disturb her. There was a quiet strength in her presence, a resilience born from surviving harsh worlds. After a while, she stirred, blinking her amber eyes at the sunlight. Elias offered her some of his rations, and she accepted them cautiously, then more confidently, as if understanding that he meant no harm. Together, they ate in silence, the bond between them growing stronger with each shared moment. Elias knew that survival here was not only about navigating the dangers of the planet, but also about learning to work together, understanding one another's instincts and strengths. They began their journey toward the nearest human outpost, a settlement that lay several days' travel across the icy plains. Elias led the way, testing the terrain carefully. The wolf girl moved beside him with grace and precision, her senses alert to every sound and movement. She would occasionally glance at him, as if confirming that he was ready to follow her lead. Their teamwork was unspoken but effective. As they traveled, they came across a narrow ravine. A bridge of ice had formed naturally, but it was thin and treacherous. Elias carefully tested it with a walking stick, feeling it creak under his weight. "Careful," he said. The wolf girl nodded, crouching low to distribute her weight as she crossed first. Her agility and balance amazed him. She paused on the other side, looking back to guide him, and Elias followed slowly, trusting her instincts. When he reached her, she tilted her head slightly, an expression of satisfaction crossing her features. Later, as they rested near a cluster of crystalline trees, they noticed strange tracks in the snow. Elias knelt to examine them, realizing they belonged to a larger predator, something they could not outrun easily. He looked at the wolf girl, who tensed instinctively. Her ears twitched, tail flicking, and she growled softly. Elias understood immediately. They were being watched. The predator emerged from the trees, a massive quadruped with thick fur and sharp claws. It moved with silent precision, eyes fixed on them. Elias assessed the situation quickly. There was no chance to outrun it. But together, they could defend themselves. He signaled the wolf girl, and she responded instantly, crouching low and circling to flank the predator. The fight was intense but brief. The wolf girl used her agility to distract the predator, dodging attacks and striking with precision. Elias used a stun device from his pack to create openings, targeting weak points in the predator's movement. Together, they managed to drive it away, leaving it injured but alive. Elias knelt, breathing heavily, and glanced at the wolf girl. Her amber eyes shone with determination, and a soft panting sound escaped her. "You're incredible," he said. She tilted her head, understanding his words, and a sense of pride passed between them. As night approached, they found shelter in a small cave. Elias built a fire with care, and the wolf girl watched, fascinated by the warmth and light. She mimicked his movements, learning quickly. Elias realized that their partnership was more than survival. It was about learning from one another, adapting, and respecting each other's abilities. He offered her a spot close to the fire, and she accepted, curling her tail around her legs. They shared a quiet meal, the flames reflecting in her glowing eyes. The following days were a mixture of exploration, survival, and growing understanding. Elias taught her to recognize human tools and methods for navigating the harsh environment. She, in turn, demonstrated her heightened senses, alerting him to hidden dangers and subtle changes in the terrain. Their communication improved, combining gestures, expressions, and sounds that conveyed complex meaning. Each day, their bond deepened, built on trust, respect, and shared experience. One afternoon, they came across a frozen river, partially covered by ice. Elias tested the ice carefully, noting weak spots. The wolf girl moved ahead, leaping from solid patch to solid patch with ease. She turned back to guide him, and he followed cautiously, his trust in her instincts growing with every step. When he reached the other side safely, he felt a surge of gratitude. Without her, he might not have made it. Without him, she might not have survived either. They were stronger together. As they continued, they noticed signs of other life. Small alien creatures scurried across the snow, and distant shapes moved among the crystalline formations. Elias realized that the planet, while dangerous, was also full of wonder. The wolf girl's knowledge of the environment allowed them to navigate safely, avoiding predators and finding food and shelter. He marveled at her adaptability and resilience, qualities that reminded him why humans could thrive in partnership with the universe rather than merely survive it. After several days, they spotted the human outpost in the distance. The sight brought a mixture of relief and apprehension. Elias knew that introducing the wolf girl to other humans could be complicated. They had rarely encountered her species before, and misunderstandings were possible. He approached cautiously, guiding her to remain calm and follow his lead. When they reached the outpost, a small group of human explorers approached, initially wary. Elias stepped forward, explaining the situation as best he could. The wolf girl remained close to him, observing quietly. At first, some humans were hesitant, unsure of how to react. But when they witnessed her loyalty, intelligence, and ability to assist in navigating the terrain, their skepticism slowly faded. They began to see her as part of Elias's life, a companion and partner in survival. The wolf girl also encountered members of her own species nearby, who had been observing from a distance. They recognized her claim of partnership and respected the bond she had formed. It was a cultural recognition, a confirmation that the connection she had with Elias was sincere and meaningful. Elias watched quietly, respecting the process, understanding that this bond transcended human or alien conventions alone. In the days that followed, Elias and the wolf girl worked alongside both humans and her species. They shared knowledge, learning from one another, and creating strategies for exploring the planet safely. Elias marveled at the cooperation, the blending of human ingenuity with her species' instincts and abilities. Together, they formed a small, effective team, stronger than any individual. Through it all, the bond between Elias and the wolf girl remained central. They communicated through gestures, expressions, and shared experiences, understanding one another deeply without needing words. Their trust had grown through survival and mutual respect, and it was unshakable. Each action, each decision, reflected the partnership they had forged in the harshest conditions. One evening, as the twin suns set behind the crystalline mountains, Elias and the wolf girl stood together on a plateau overlooking the valley. The light reflected in their eyes, a reminder of the journey they had shared. Elias placed a hand gently on her shoulder, feeling the warmth and life beneath the fur. She leaned slightly against him, a gesture of trust and acknowledgement. Elias smiled softly, realizing that in saving her, he had not only found a companion, but also discovered the strength of human compassion, courage, and connection. The wolf girl tilted her head, looking at him with a quiet intensity. Her amber eyes seemed to convey a simple truth. She had chosen him, not out of need alone, but out of recognition of who he was. And Elias understood. He had earned her trust, and in return, she had offered him loyalty, companionship, and a bond that transcended the ordinary. It was a partnership that neither species alone could fully understand, yet both could respect and honor. As night fell, they returned to the outpost, welcomed by both humans and members of her species. Together, they shared stories of survival, strategies for exploration, and lessons learned from the icy, crystalline world. Elias realized that this planet, once a place of danger and isolation, had become a place of connection, growth, and understanding. The wolf girl remained close to him, a living reminder that courage, compassion, and trust could create bonds stronger than fear, distance, or difference. In the quiet hours, Elias sat beside the wolf girl near the fire, the twin suns having set completely, leaving the stars shining brilliantly above. She curled her tail around her legs, eyes reflecting the flickering flames. Elias felt a rare sense of peace. He had saved her life, yes. But she had saved something within him too. The understanding that connection and trust were as vital to survival as strength and skill. Together, they watched the stars. Partners in a universe full of unknowns. The challenges they had faced had forged an unbreakable bond, one built on respect, loyalty, and shared experience. Elias understood that the journey was only beginning. But he was ready. He would face whatever came next, not alone, but with a companion who had chosen him and whom he had chosen in return. And in that frozen valley, under the vast expanse of stars, human and wolf girl stood together, united by courage, trust, and the quiet promise of companionship that would last a lifetime. Their bond was a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the possibilities that could be found when understanding crossed the boundaries of species, language, and culture. They had survived. They had grown. And they had found in one another a connection that neither the universe nor time could ever break.